Hi, this is Joanne Dennison, CMP, Certified Meeting Professional, here with you today to give you education, information, and tips for the meeting and event field. And if you're on the path to the CMP exam, it'll help there too. So this is video 4 in a series on the infamous break-even formulas. And this one we're going to talk about the break-even units, which for some odd reason is what they call attendees. So as we talked about in video 2, you have to go back to your math class where your unknown was regarded as X. And our unknown in this case, because we're trying to figure out how many attendees need to come to break even, is our attendees. So you always put your unknown on one side of the equal sign, and on the other side of the equal sign, you now know that the 3 parts I talked about in video 2 will be on this side. So, in the case of both formulas, you're always starting out with trying to figure out how to cover your fixed cost. Your fixed cost, again, are the things that you have, whether there be 1,000 or 1 person coming to the event. They are mandated, they are fixed, they are not changing. And you have to figure out how to cover them. So in this particular one, the other 2 numbers that we're dealing with is the registration fee and the variable. So let's talk about the registration fee for a minute. The registration fee is made up of a mixture of how much each attendee has to pay to cover the fixed cost plus the variable cost for each individual to come. So what we have to do here is, we know we're doing something with those, with the registration number and the variable cost. So we have to think about it. We're trying to cover our fixed costs. So what we're going to end up doing is we have to take our registration fee, but again, because we know it is made up of 2 parts, we have to subtract out the variable. And we do that so we can find out how much of the registration fee is available to help cover the fixed cost. Let me stop for one moment. Sometimes people go, well, how do I know what the registration fee is? Well, the short version is on the exam, they'll tell you. But in real life, it means you know for whatever reason. You know the threshold of what your attendees will pay. You know people are not going to pay over $200. Maybe it's based on last year's. For whatever reason, you already know what your registration is going to be. There will never be 2 unknowns in the question. So, back to the formula. So the registration, what we're going to do is we are going to subtract out, we're going to take the registration fee, we need to back out the variable to find out what portion of the registration fee can go toward covering the fixed cost. So if we take the numbers of 20,000 for fixed cost, registration of 200, and we know the variable is 75. Again, you will have been given the registration number, the variable number, and the fixed if you are on the exam. And in real life, you'll also know those for whatever reason. You will have already determined your fixed cost, your variable cost, and you know your registration is going to be 200. So we're taking 200 and we're backing out the variable. So we now know that out of every $200 registration cost, we have $125 toward contributing toward covering the fixed cost. So now the question becomes, how many people need to pay that $125 to help cover the fixed cost? So in that case, you're going to take the 20,000 and you're dividing it by 125. And what you're going to come up with is 160. So 160 people need to pay that $125 to cover the 20,000. The only reason this number is important in this case is because we have to back it out of the registration price to know what money is left to help cover the fixed cost. So that is the break-even unit, or number of attendees. That tells you how many people you need to attend to break even. This is Joanne Dennison, CMP. Hope that helps.